Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, ma'am.
It's 8:30. Start. Shall we start the class? How was the exam? How was the paper? Someone start with Gayatri Mantra? Let's start the day with and the week with Gayatri Mantra first. Yes, Mohit, you started?
Yes, ma'am. Om Bhuvasva Tasyam Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Yo Yo Om Bhuvasva Tasyam Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Yo Yo Om Bhuvasva Tasyam Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Yo Yo
Shanti, Shanti. Okay, we'll start the class. How many students are there? Mohit, just see how many students are there. Four?
Five.
Okay. How was the paper?
मैम उसमें मेरे को दो क्वेश्चंस में डाउट था.
Yeah. Last was incorrect. That I'm giving marks to everyone. So, 1 second. Okay, I'll just present along because I'm just checking your papers only. I have checked almost Chanakya's. Oh, Amartya's. So, I'll just discuss the paper with you. And I haven't received anyone's homework, the chapter number.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, my phone, my mobile has some issues. That PDF is not getting uploaded. So, in 1 or 2 days, I'll send you the PDF of chapter number 2. Is it okay?
Just click the screen picture and just send me. I'll just come to know whether you
Okay,
have
ma'am.
done it or not. What do I want? I do not want the entire chapter to be written. Only the work which I gave has to. The comparative studies are important. That has to be done. Comparative study of the types of partners. Comparative studies of business organizations, and then I had asked you for SEBI's function and names of the companies, the public limited and the private limited companies, and the companies listed on the stock exchange. And then I had sent you sole proprietorship there. So it's not everything which I have asked you, but yes, it's the comparative studies which I want the maximum.
मैम वो टेबल बना के वैसी वाली.
हाँ वो सारा कुछ you have to do that. Okay, is the screen visible? Okay,
Yes.
Mohit has scored 51, including the question which I had the last question. Why is it not working? Is it something that along with the class it cannot work? अभी तक तो मैं चेक कर रही थी तो ठीक था सब. Just taking time. Wait a second. Chanakya starts from 26. Samrit has got 46, including the question which has the last one which was marked wrong. Yeah, 25 were off. Oh, yes, this is. From 26, I think Chanakya starts. Yeah, Samrit got. Samrit is there in the class. Now, if I go back, I'll have to again start this. One second, just let me take.
नहीं मैम सबमिट नहीं है.
I don't want the marks. Actually, I'm seeing the last question as well. It's not everyone who has marked cooperative societies. The students who have marked cooperative, then only I'm giving 1 mark. Otherwise, I'm not giving 1 mark. See, the Nandana has also got 51. So it's a restart again. सब गड़बड़ हो जाती है. कितना slow चलता है, and then we have this whole system of. Any doubt is there in any question?
हाँ मैम एक डाउट है. एक
Any
मिनट.
doubt to any? Why don't you open on your
मैम एक क्वेश्चन था. पब्लिक लिमिटेड कंपनी कैन नॉट स्टार्ट दिस बिजनेस अनलेस इट कवर्स द थर्ड एंड द लास्ट स्टेज. तो मैम लास्ट स्टेज तो कमेंसमेंट ऑफ बिजनेस स्टेज और थर्ड स्टेज वो कैपिटल सब्सक्रिप्शन है. तो क्या करें?
See, it's the promotions. In some certain books, you will find 3 stages. In certain books, you will find 4 stages. जैसे incorporation stage has been included as the second stage. In the similar manner, कई books में fourth stage दी गई है. That is the commencement of business.
मैम इसमें थर्ड स्टेज और लास्ट स्टेज दोनों लिखा था. तो इसमें क्या
Wait one
करना?
second. Is Samrit there in the class?
नहीं मैम पहले तो नहीं थी.
Okay.
चेक कर.
Hmm. So this is Mohit's paper.
नहीं मैम नहीं है.
Mohit for the last. See, I will not permit now. Wait करने के लिए. Papa, I don't know. See, this is the question which went wrong.
हाँ मैम ये.
A public limited company cannot start its business unless it covers third and last stage. So for me, because according to Poonam Gandhi, we were doing third and the last stage. ऊपर mention भी है third stage and the last stage. So it was feeded as. मगर थर्ड स्टेज का नाम ही कैपिटल सब्सक्रिप्शन स्टेज है.
मैम वो तो है लेकिन बाद में लास्ट स्टेज लिखा हुआ था और नीचे क्वेश्चन था जिसमें पूरा फॉर्मेट बताया हुआ था कि फॉर्मेट क्या है कंपनी के फॉर्म होने का. इसमें सारे स्टेजेस में लास्ट में लिखा हुआ था कमेंसमेंट ऑफ बिजनेस.
द प्रॉपर सीक्वेंस वाला क्वेश्चन ये था ना.
हाँ मैम.
Okay. So this is the last stage, obviously the commencement of business. But हमने उसको inclusive पढ़ा है. This is right also. But how should I permit the student now? That is the question. Who is there taking an entry in the class?
ये तो दिखा.
Naman, why 48? 49? Your last question is correct. That is what I saw. I'll just see Manan's marks and then I'll turn back. 32. Now what should I do? Should I start with the chapter or you want to have any doubt in any of the questions? Homework kind. Where's the homework, everyone? This. You are going to have tough time. It is, I have no problem starting with the next chapter. But when I say a work, at least do the activities and send me. Don't take undue advantage if the teacher is liberal. But I want something that at least the activities make sense doing them in the register. Anyone, any doubt in? I'll start with the chapter now. Anyone, any doubt in any of the questions? For
No,
last
ma'am.
question, I'm giving marks to everyone. That is not a problem. And Mohit and Naman, if you're confused with that question, that is also right. But then, but Naman, इसके अलावा भी you have lost what 52 questions. You have got it wrong again. एक बार check कर लेना where all you click हो गया. Okay, okay, okay. So it is Mohit has done good. Naman has got 49 according to me. If you take that question, it is 50. Nandana has got done very good, 51. Devansh has got 49. Samrit has got 46, including the question, last question. Bhavya has also got 43. So, taking thereby that the things are getting clear with you. Okay, let's pay attention. Okay, before starting with the next chapter, let me assign the work to you all so that we are finishing this chapter within this week. So, on Saturday, it's most probably working this Saturday. So, let's not take it Saturday only. Let's take it Friday and Saturday. It's everyone. There are two topics. One is multinational companies, and one are the JVs, that is joint ventures. Both have been omitted by CBSE this year again in your syllabus. But
तो इस
then the
चैप्टर में से हटा दिया थर्ड में से.
हाँ, तो आपका बहुत सारा omit किया है उन्होंने. मगर last year also, because there are only 10 chapters in BST and it doesn't takes a lot of time. Split up plan के accordingly also, then also I'm finishing the syllabus by November, December. So we have ample of time to devote to all these activities. And multinational companies, that's a very important in topic these days. You cannot completely ignore it. And so is the joint venture. So for multinational companies, I want everyone, either I have two options, either it's a speech competition or either it is a debate competition. In when it is a debate competition, I am going to divide two teams, that one who are in favor of the multinational companies, and other side there will be people who will say that there are multinational companies are a threat to the developing nations like India and Africa. So there shall be multinational companies shall not be given permission to work in the countries. So, or it can be a simple speech that what role, the topic is what role does the multinational companies they play in developing nations. So everywhere we are going to focus of the role of multinational companies in developing countries. How do you want it now? If you people will participate, everyone, then it is a debate. Otherwise, it's a speech. Choice is yours. Be quick.
कुछ भी चलेगा.
See, when it is a group discussion, हमेशा याद रखना, आप speech बोलोगे, आप हमेशा कोई आर्टिकल दो चार पढ़ोगे, you will just pen down your points and you will present it. When it is a debate, you get a chance to argue with your friends. Who says, जैसे हेयर भव्या सेज नहीं मल्टीनेशनल कंपनीज होनी चाहिए, उसके कारण एम्प्लॉयमेंट अपॉर्चुनिटीज आती हैं, उसके कारण टेक्नोलॉजी आती है. बट द अदर साइड you can always say it leads to even brain drain. और प्रॉफिट दूसरे कंट्रीज में जा रहा है हमारा मेजर इंडियन कंपनीज को द गवर्नमेंट इज नॉट पेइंग अटेंशन. अगर तो सब पार्टिसिपेट करेंगे देन लेट्स मेक इट अ डिबेट अदरवाइज अ स्पीच. So for Friday the topic is please everyone multinational companies it can be boon or bane to the developing nations. Topic taken, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Just let me see who are the students present in the class. Okay. Bhavya, start speaking. Favor or against?
Against.
I couldn't get you, Bhavya.
उसने अगेंस्ट
Against. Okay. So Bhavya goes against. So, okay. Listen, everyone. Krishna, Manan, Mohit, Naman, Nandana, Natik, Rhythm. You will participate. Hopefully, you will be there in the class. Nat, Rhythm, get up now. Good morning. Okay. So, please, everyone, jot it down. Against. Against means you are not in favor of multinational companies. Bhavya, Krishna, Mohit, Nandana, Rhythm, and Yashika. They are against. In favor of multinational companies, it goes Devansh, Manan, Naman, Naitik, and Samrit. And if anyone student joins, that will go in 14 because we have 3 and 6 in against and 5 in 4. Right? Is the teams clear now?
यस
And if you do not come to the class, I will in the morning I will call you up and the debate goes on Friday. और कोई भी simple articles में से please remember students how are you going to prepare. Please, you have to read almost 10 to 20 articles to present or your viewpoint. Don't read one two articles, that will not support your arguments. Read when you're searching for articles, always write foreign articles or you can check out certain bloggers for this. I will also forward few articles, and along with that, you have to give examples. Examples of the name of the companies, name of the developing nations. How do you then developing nations and how are they posing a threat to the nations? Like I'll just give you an example. Most probably I have that article. I'll even forward you. I was just going through an article. Now, what is China doing? China wants to expand everywhere. Now, what is China doing? It's expanding its horizons even till Africa. Why? Because they want raw materials at a cheaper rate. They want raw material, they want labor at a cheaper cost. Even if they set up their factories, their industries in Africa or their companies in Africa, what will happen? The low cost of production. So it gets a benefit to them. So what do you have to do here? You have to find out the names of the companies who are actually setting up in those countries and why do they prefer doing that. अगर एक टीम ये कर रही है कि भाई हाँ चाइना ये कर रहा है, दिस इज रॉन्ग, बट चाइना ये कर रहा है अदर साइड. यू हैव टू फाइंड इन फेवर द पॉइंट्स कि उसके कारण डेवलपमेंट भी तो आ रही है चाइना अफ्रीका में. So haphazardly don't come um, unprepared in the class. And if you want, I can always club it with Amartya. Then it goes section wise. That I'll just tie up with Harsa. Is this clear now, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Everyone? Now, this is the topic for multinational companies for joint venture. For joint venture, the activity goes into your registers. Now, what do you have to do? First thing, you have to write the definition of joint venture. What is a joint venture? When two or more firms they join together to establish a new enterprise, that is a joint venture. When they join hands, now you have to make a column where big companies have joined hands as JVs. And why do they do that? What benefit are they going to get it? You'll have number of examples अगर आप लोगों ने um, any recent joint venture which you can talk about? Anyone? Anyone? Are you all there in the class?
Yes.
Yes.
Wait, I'll forward you a few articles. Any new joint venture which you can talk about? Anyone?
Ma'am, it's ABL Imbra joint ventures 350 crore project.
Which one? Which one?
ABL Indra joint venture. It is a project of 350 crore to upgrade police in Maldives.
Okay.
Police infrastructure in Maldives.
Anyone else? Who has ever traveled by Vistara? What is Vistara? It is a joint. It is a joint venture of Singapore Airlines and Tata. So this is what I'm asking. Now, if you find out, can someone type it? Joint ventures of Tata.
That's what I'm searching.
The big Air Asia, Vistara, these are all joint ventures. See the automobile subsidiaries of Tata Motors or the
Then it's PH Technologies also. TCS and CBI joint ventures.
see the biggest JV which you are forgetting, Tata and Jaguar Land Rover. And there are number of these all insurance companies. They're all joint ventures. When you're doing joint ventures, I don't want कि आपने दो निकाले और काम खत्म कर दिया. I'm giving ample of time to you, the entire week to you. Friday it goes multinational companies, Saturday it goes joint ventures, and then you should note, make a big list of all these joint ventures and what benefits are they getting out of these joint ventures. Am I clear with everyone? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. So now we are going to start with chapter number. I hope chapter number 2 went very nice. And enough of revision I did, the back exercises. Although I've seen certain performers who haven't done very nice, I will request that please read the chapter. Now, chapter number 3, that goes private, public, and global enterprises. Now, if you remember, or if you can, now the question arises, what are private enterprises, what are public enterprises, and what are global enterprises? Now, we have already taken up what are private enterprises. If you remember, if we do the mind map of the quickly of the private enterprises, we have five type of major private organizations that comes as sole proprietorship, Hindu undivided family, the cooperative societies, and the joint stock companies, which are and then we have partnership. In joint stock companies, we have OPC, it is public limited, and public limited and private limited companies. These are private enterprises which are owned by private individuals. They are called private enterprises. Now, this first part has already been done with us. Now, the question arises, what are public enterprises? What do you get by the term when I say public enterprises? Yes, everyone.
Ma'am, it is open to public.
Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else? What happened?
Controlled by public.
Public enterprises are those enterprises which are owned and controlled by government of India, completely under the control of government. Now, when we were doing chapter number 2, all those enterprises, if you see that those public limited companies or the private limited companies, they are the private organizations. Private individuals have opened them, although the rules and regulations, the enactments, they have been created by the government, and we have to follow that procedure and the protocol which has been laid by the government of India. But here, these companies or these enterprises, they are completely working under the government. Is this much clear? Is this much clear, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, the question arises that what was the situation of public limited companies in our public enterprises in our country? India achieved its independence in the year 1947. Any idea what was the situation earlier? Any idea? If we take the period of 1947 when India achieved its independence, you have been studying since 10, till 10th standard, you have all started. Now, if you see the British Empire or the British colonial period, that was the time when India generally had the enactment which the Britishers made. Obviously, we, we were not having our own administrative system. The entire administration was run by the Britishers. Whatever enactments were created in UK, the same enactments were made applicable in India with certain amendments according to the needs and circumstances which were there in India. Be it a Railways Act, be it a Partnership Act, be it Cooperative Societies Act, or be it the other Companies Act which were created before 1956. India had no experience of making their own laws. But when it achieved its independence in the year 1947, India had big role to play. The leaders had big role to play. Who became the first Prime Minister of India? Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. When he became the Prime Minister of India, there were a number of intellectuals, like we have Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, Dr. Rajendra Prasad, who made the constitution. But a constitution, any idea, students, how was the Indian constitution made? Any idea? Indian constitution is called a borrowed constitution. It is called a borrowed constitution. We did not create the entire constitution ourselves. What did we do? What did these leaders or the intellectuals do? They borrowed the different principles and clauses from different countries, like Irish constitution, like the UK and the USA constitution. Whatever clauses or sections they found that they are best given by those countries, they adopted in their own countries, obviously with certain changes. This is the reason that the Indian constitution is called a borrowed constitution. Now constitution they adopted in 1950. Constitution तो बना लिया, अब उसमें बहुत बड़ी बड़ी चीजें भी लिख दी इन्होंने. But they had so big role to play that how to control the economy of the country, how to manage the growth of the country. Britishers चले गए बहुत सब. They, if there are certain educationists who consider that the British rule was a golden period for the Indians. Do you agree with that? Had the Britishers not come into India, we would have been still moving without the proper administrative systems. Do you agree or not? Are you all there in the class?
Yes, ma'am.
There have been educationists, if you read the articles, that colonial period is even considered the golden period. अगर ब्रिटिशर्स शायद इंडिया में आते ही नहीं तो जितना टेलीग्राफ, टेलीफोनिक सिस्टम, रेलवे, इतना डेवलपमेंट जितनी वो करके गए, शायद इंडिया इतनी कर ही नहीं पाता इतने शॉर्टर पीरियड ऑफ टाइम में. मगर अब ब्रिटिशर्स चले गए. ब्रिटिशर्स ने कहा यू कैन मेक योर ओन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. नाउ the entire economy, the entire country is into your hands. Now, even if we read them as scholars today, they did not have a lot of experience. What did they try to do at that time? You have read this in economics in 9-10, haven't you? Yes or no, students?
Yes.
Now, in the beginning, from 1950 till 1990, if you would take this period, there were certain industrial policies which were adopted in our country. When you go in 12th standard, पूरे economics पे आपका public sector पे ही है. You have industrial policies which will be read in detail by you. 1956, 1970, 1966. These all industrial policies will be read by you in detail. Now, what did Indians do? In the beginning, from 1950, they tried to bring the entire economy under their control. That is, under the control of the government. All the major companies, all the major sectors, they tried that they should be under the control of the government. Private sector was not given a lot of freedom. प्राइवेट सेक्टर को जितनी फ्रीडम भी दी जाती थी वो भी they had to enjoy their freedom only under the control of the government. And the situation was such that for every single thing they had to take a approval from the government. और अगर तो आपकी अप्रोच है गवर्नमेंट डिपार्टमेंट्स में, they could get approval quickly. And this is the reason we'll study of only the business tycoons. There were very few industrialists that time. Like iron and steel, Jamshedji Tata and these all industrialists we study that time. Because they had contacts with those leaders, they could take permissions quickly. Whereas other, they were small producers, जिनको permissions नहीं मिलती थी. who were fed up with the system that Abhay has government to try to control the entire system. They gave little freedom from 1950 till 1990. But 1990 they brought about a complete change with the system that was under the government of Congress. That was Manmohan Singh was the finance minister. P.V. Narasimha Rao was the prime minister. And the policy which was adopted in 1991, that was LPG, which is called liberalization, privatization, and globalization. If you study about all these multinational companies, now you will see that they have mostly entered into India in 1996, 1998, and even after 2000. Before that, if you talk about the period of 1970s 80s, आपको इतनी सारी मल्टीनेशनल कंपनीज ये सब कुछ नहीं मिलेगा ये इंडिया में. रीजन क्या था? क्योंकि गवर्नमेंट का कंट्रोल बहुत ज़्यादा था. जो एक लिबर्टी दी गई, जो एक प्राइवेट सेक्टर को ज़्यादा फ्रीडम दी गई, दैट वाज ओनली आफ्टर 1991. Is this much clear, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, if we talk about public sector, we are going to read three types of organizations in this. They are called departmental undertakings. One. Second, we are going to read about statutory corporations like RBI, like SEBI. That is a statutory corporation. If you remember when I was telling you SEBI, it is an independent body. It is a statutory corporation. Statutory corporations are also called public corporations. Or we have an example of Food Corporation of India. And for departmental undertakings, we have example of defense and armed forces. And the third are the government companies. Like we have an example of BHEL, that is Bharat Heavy Electricals Limited, and we have the examples of GAIL, that is Gas Authority of India Limited. We have the examples of SAIL, Steel Authority of India Limited. We have ONGC, which is Oil Natural Gas Corporation. Now, this is the introductory class to this chapter. Tomorrow we'll start with this chapter. So it goes when we are doing again for this chapter, whenever we are doing statutory corporations, departmental undertakings, we'll read the main features of it, then the merits and demerits. How we were doing earlier in sole proprietorships and other type of organizations. Is it clear? What is the lesson overview?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, just let me take your attendance, then you cannot leave. So today is 9th. Okay, so it is Naman, yes. Devansh Garg, just say present, yes, no.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Nandana, Khushi, Mohit Chaudhary, Bhavya, Yashika,
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Krishna Maheshwari, Manan, Naitik, and
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
so I'll mark 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'll just call out the names. You can leave. Tomorrow we start with this chapter. This was just an introductory and an overview of the chapter. Naman, Devansh Garg, Nandana, Khushi, Mohit Chaudhary, Bhavya, Yashika, Krishna Maheshwari, Manan, Naitik, and Rhythm. You can leave. Thank you, everyone. See
Okay,
you
ma'am.
tomorrow.
Ma'am,
Thank
my name is not
Bye,
this.
everyone. Sorry, did you say something, Khushi?
Ma'am, my name is not there. I'm Samrit.
Okay, Samrit.